make you more courageous, inspire you to jump all in and get in the mix. Listen, we're getting ready for 2026. We got to stop hiding in the shadows. We got to stop being invisible here. We got to get in the mix. You got to make your comments. You got to inspire other people. You got to live your life out loud. You are the one in your family, and it's time for you to step up and step out and change your family's last name forever. So that's my time. And with that, I hand it back to you, Mr. Eric.
All right, all right. Thank you so much. That was powerful. A powerful start to this great topic. All right, so we're going to keep going. But before we do that, let me just welcome some people. Sharon Rose, good to see you. Maria, good to see you. Welcome. Let's see. I don't see his name. Cameron. Cameron. Welcome. Paula is in the house. Good to see you. Good morning to you. Dr. Vivian is in the house. Welcome. Coral from across the pond, welcome to the call. Let's see. We have a lot more people, but some people are not putting their comments in there. Oh, Gladys is here. Welcome, Gladys. We have Eric Doby's in the house. Welcome. Ashrin, good to see you. All right, so keep putting it in there. Keep putting those comments in there. Welcome. Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening. And by the way, if you have any questions about your why, right? How do you find it? How, where do you go? Where do you go to get ideas about what your why is? How do you start focusing on achieving your why? All of those things, just put it in the chat and let's talk about it. All right. So our next, we're going to go all the way now to West Africa, to Nigeria specifically, to talk to our good friend who just makes people happy. Like he makes you want to live your life and find your why, right? And what he teaches helps you with that. Okay, so I'm not going to steal his thunder. He's going to tell you more about what he does. But at this point, I want to bring on my good friend Zan Anagru, Mr. Positive Energy. The floor is yours.
All right, thank you so much, Mr. Eric F. King. Thank you so much, Leah, for kicking us off on a very high note. And also, Mr. Eni, welcome, and thank you for being here today. And all the MVP joining us from all over the world, we want to say a very big thank you. And we celebrate you greatly for being here with us. And now to talk about today's topic, what is your why? I tell you, Queen Leah has done justice to this topic already. she has hit the nail on the head, but then we still have a lot to share with you, right? Because we believe there are many persons out there who are still struggling with finding purpose and outside job. Like Queen Leah said earlier, your job is what you do, but your purpose is who you are. So the question remains, who are you? Who are you? And when it comes to finding your why, it's unique and it's different from person to person. My why will not be your why, and your why might not be my why. And that's the reason why it is good that we have to look within ourselves. And one of the first points that you can use to finding your why is self-reflection. Reflect on yourself by identifying what is that thing that you are passionate about and what is that thing that interests you so much. In my journey as an entrepreneur, I find purpose in pushing positivity, in teaching people how to stay positive. Now, I could have as well copy other people and say, you know what, this person is doing, let me be like this person. No, but because I was able to look inward and look at the things that interest me, look at the things that I'm passionate about, I was able to find my why in positivity. And this is something that you have to do. Nobody can do this for you because finding your why takes intention. Intention that you must be able to put in the work to ask yourself, what are you passionate about? And as our faces are different, so our passions can be different. We can be passionate about different things. So the ability for us to reflect and identify the things you are passionate about, the things that interest you, the things that get you excited, is one way you can find your why. You don't have to look too far. For most people, they think, oh, somebody has to tell them their why. Somebody has to show you your why. Well, in some cases it happens, but for you to truly find passion for what you do, it has to come from within. It has to come from something you love. It has to come from something you enjoy. And that's why most people, they have a job, but they do not enjoy the job. It doesn't get them excited. It doesn't get them motivated as they want it to be. So finding your why is key. And one way to find your why is to embrace the power of reflection understanding your passion and your strength. And secondly, understanding your values. What do you stand for as a person? Do you stand for integrity? Do you stand for love? Do you stand for kindness? Do you stand for impact in making an influence in the life of people? These are key and very, very important. I remember um, starting my journey as a positivity coach and mentor. It's something that really got me excited. I was all about making an impact and making a huge difference. And that alone drives. It pushed me out there. I used to be an introvert. I used to be timid. I used to be very quiet. But because I was so passionate about my goal and using it to make an impact, I understood that making an impact does not happen in my comfort zone. Then I had to put myself out there. When you find your why, it is what drives you. It is what drives you. It is what gets you where you want to be. It is what energizes you. That's why we are talking about this topic today because it's high time people need to find your why. It's not just enough to get busy or to be doing things or to be occupied. You have to be productive by doing that thing that you love to do. That you love to do. And for most people, we 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 have strength. We have those things that we are good on, but we don't really take out the time. You're always looking at the things that you cannot do, the things that are not working out well, the things that you cannot achieve. One way to find your why is to look at your strength. What is that thing you are good at? For some persons, you can be good at smiling. And I tell you, just by smiling, you can change the world just by smiling. For some persons, you are good at talking to people, but good at communication. By keying into that, you can see you can make the impact that you are wishing to make. And if there's one thing I've noticed about purpose, I've learned over and again, and even from people these days. As much as your purpose is unique to you, you can use it to make the kind of impact you want to make. There is no purpose too small. There is no why too small not to make an impact. There is no why too small not to cause the change that you want to see. There is no why too small not to bring the influence that you want to get to. So it does not matter your why. Your whys can be different from my why, but the ability for you to pursue your why passionately is key. I will end with this. When it comes to being pursuing your why or having a why for your life, every why has a voice. I will say this again, every why has a voice. It speaks for itself. And the more you passionately pursue your why, the more you will see the impact that you want to make.
Okay. think you dropped off there, but we got most of what you said. Thank you so much, Zion. That was an incredible, incredible talk. Got us going this morning. All right, all right. So we're gonna keep going. We're gonna keep going. I'm seeing your comments. Definitely put it in there. And also, I want you all to put your questions. Okay. And if you're gonna put a question, start with the word question, so I know it's a question, right? Just a question, and then put the question there, and let's talk about it. All right. So we're gonna keep moving to our next speaker. So we're going all the way from Nigeria and West Africa. We're going all the way to Europe, to London, England, to hear from our next speaker. He is known as the fame expert. That's right. He makes you famous. He's a marketing genius. He introduced me to LinkedIn as a way to meet other people and do business, because I used to think LinkedIn was, hey, for resumes, right. So he's the kind of person that can help you, lead you to helping you get to your why. Right, get to your why. So without further ado, I'd like to bring up my good friend Eni Usong. The floor is yours. You are muted, sir.
Let's fix that. So you can hear me now?
Yes.
So good
yes.
afternoon, my friends. Sorry about that. No, these things happen on this show. Look, big topic, Eric. Big topic, my friend. And I love what Mrs. Z said and what Queen Leah said as well. This is probably one of this is our life mission, really. I think it's finding our purpose. What we're here for. See, I'm one to believe that we all have a reason to live, to exist. Yeah, it's discovering that purpose, our God-given gift, our God-given mission. Yeah, I think that as Mr. Z has said and Queen Leah said, when we find that purpose, we are and we live that purpose, we feel fulfilled. Everything flows. Our life is easier. Our life is better. We have more impact on the world. We find joy. And I dare say, most people will find wealth and happiness and success when you live when you live that purpose. See, it is a reality that most people live through life. I'm one of those who lives through life just working. And yes, we enjoy. Of course, I've enjoyed many jobs. I've been saying that from lecturing to being a builder. I've worked many jobs. I'm sure most of us will do many different things. How do you know which one is your why? How do you know which one is your God-given gift? Your God's mission. Your way to help humanity. There's no easy answer, my friends. So yeah, I will say, our purpose tends to be about helping people. Now, how can we make people's lives easier, better? And it's not always about us. So the we part of your why. Let's say it's in the fulfillment. It's in the sense of having made a difference. Now, God will love you when you help others. That's what I say, right? And there's no easy way to find your why. And so I think the best thing I can say is, it's rare that your why will drop in your lap on one day. Literally you wake up, you're like, I know what my why is. Yes, I'm sure you could, right? But very few know what their why is because it just falls on them. For most people, like I say, it goes back to doing different things, doing many things. I think every day, this is where Mr. Z says your why is within you. Every day we wake up, right? And we have an idea. We have a vision. Something comes across our mind. Something that we can do, could do, should do, have to do. All those things, all those words they're different in the little bits, right? And every day we decide, yes, I'm gonna do it, or I'm not gonna do it. So I think those voices in our heads, those visions that we have, it's a message from God, really. And I think we owe ourselves the duty to pursue everything we do with everything we've got. Take action. Don't ignore that voice, because that could well be where your why is. Of course, our why does change as we go through life as well, by the way. And I say there's no point thinking that we're here for one thing only. I don't think that's how it works. As we get older, as we get better, as we become a different person, someone who does that thing, we'll get more messages, because we're ready to receive, we're ready to understand that we have a greater goal. I think it's giving yourself that space. Whether through meditating, through prayer, some people do. But essentially quieting the mind and hear what God has to say to you. In prayer, we're talking to God. In meditation, God's talking to us. We have to learn to listen to that voice and take action with all we have. Give everything your best every time. That's the only way you're going to know whether this is for you or whether it's not. I'll leave it there, my friends.
All right. Thank you so much. Wow, another perspective. And that's why, I always bring these experts here, because they always have great perspectives on our topics. All right. So if you haven't by the way, put in the chat, what's your why? If you know what your why is, put it in the chat. My why is, okay? So 2 things in the chat. Put your why in the chat, or put a question in the chat that says question, and then ask us what your question is. All right. Welcome, Alexis. Good to see you. Arlovine, hopefully I pronounced your name correctly. Welcome. Good to see you. All right. Dr. Marcia, good to see you. Welcome, everybody. Farzan, good to see you. All right. So let's keep going. So I'm going to share with you a few things that you may want to focus on to let you know what your why is. Okay. So number one, what energizes you every day? Like what gets you what gets you excited, right? Like for me, what I do, sometimes I meet with coaches and speakers at 9 p.m., 8 p.m. at night, right? And we're talking about their business and how they can present it on stage and all of that. And I'm excited, right? And some people ask me, like my kids ask me, like, Dad, aren't you don't you get tired of all of this? Like most people are tired, after their 9 to 5, and you're talking to people at 9 p.m. And I said, because it's not work for me, right? It's not work, right? This is my passion. This is what I love to do, right? So what gets you energized? What are the patterns of your past that you can look at, like when you felt the happiest, doing what you were doing and made you feel the happiest, right? Also look at what is it that you want to, how do you want to impact people, right? What creates the impact, right? Because when you help other people, it actually helps yourself. I remember one time I took the kids to, we had a church event where we were giving out turkeys to families that didn't have money for Thanksgiving. And one of my sons says, Dad, it felt so good to give people those turkeys. They were so happy and everything. And it's like, it even feels better to give than to receive. And I'm like, yeah, it does, right? So maybe your why has something to do with giving, right? Maybe it has something to do with giving, right? So, and then look at also what feels missing in your life. That one thing that's missing is probably your why, right? Is it connection? Is it security? Is it freedom, right? What's missing, right? So for me, it took a while for me to know my why. Like it took a long time. Like just like Annie, I worked a lot of jobs, and I just didn't know what my why. I just want to be good at the job, right? So I got into sales at a young age, and I was able to do very well in that industry. And then I got into speaking at a young age, where I was, doing motivational speeches and stuff like that. But I still didn't know my why. And then I realized that a lot of entrepreneurs don't know how to sell their offers, right? They have a passion, they believe in it, but they don't know how to sell it. So I said, okay, maybe my why is helping entrepreneurs sell their stuff, right? And that got me excited, right? Got me, and I'm like, maybe that's it. But then, as I'm going around speaking, I realized that a lot of entrepreneurs don't either they're not comfortable sharing their information, or they don't know how to share it on a big stage. And I'm like, maybe that's my why, right? Helping people with that. So I started helping people with that. And then it came full circle when I started my company, studiospeaking.com. Definitely check it out, where I help speakers, coaches, and authors to share their expertise in front of a live audience, right? Where they're getting sales, they're getting new clients, right? And I give them the videos and the pictures from that. And then I created a mastermind for all of them to hang out, right? And I realized that that's my why, right? So for me, my why is, my dream is to help other people's dreams come true. Help other people's dreams, mostly coaches, speakers, and authors, but entrepreneurs generally, okay? I help them achieve their full potential, right? People, when people say this is what I want to achieve, and I help them, it makes me feel good. I'm like, that's my why. But then I'm thinking, okay, but you have to make money too, right? So my why also is to create generational wealth for my family. So here's what I want to point out. You can have multiple parts of your why, right? So it doesn't just have to be one thing. It could be multiple, right? Where they're all connected, right? So everything I do revolves around helping entrepreneurs to promote what they do, and to promote them and put them on stages and just edify people. That's what I do. That's my passion. And it brings me in more money than any job ever did. Isn't that interesting? Right? I've done jobs where I had my stress level was like a 9 out of 10. 9 out of 10. And the only reason I don't say 10 is, 10 is when you just break down and get sick and go to the hospital, right? So I was there. I was real close, right? 9 out of 10. My business now, probably a maximum of 3 out of 10 in terms of stress level, right? And I'm helping more people at the same time, right? So that I just want to share with you what my why is. And if you haven't found your why, we're going to talk about it. We're going to talk about how you can find your why. Okay, and we're going to get into the questions. All right. So that's what I want to share with you all. So at this time, all the speakers will share with you what they do, and how you can reach them. So I'll get started. So like I said, I am the CEO and founder of studiospeaking.com, the number one stage in the world for speakers, coaches, and authors to share their knowledge and expertise with a live audience. Okay, check out my page. If we have an event coming up in January, if you want to speak, we have a couple spots open, then just contact me, right? Send me a message or contact Coral from across the pond. She's on here and we'll be able to talk to you about that, right? So that's what I do. I'm also going to give you all a free ebook that I wrote. So I wrote a book, an ebook where I give you 100 ways to build your business, 100 ways to get more sales, customers, leads, all of that. And we're going to put it in the chat. Okay. It's successwitheric.com/100. Okay, successwitheric.com/100. So call if you can put it in the chat as well, so we have it on multiple platforms. All right, I just put it in the chat. Click on it right now and download it. It's free. All right. So let's go around the room. Let's go with Zion. Zion, can you tell us where people can find you?
All right. Thank you so much, Mr. Eric. Yes, for those who want to find me, I'm always on LinkedIn, active. I'm on all socials as well, but I'm more active on LinkedIn. And what do? I coach and mentor people on positivity, and I also help host online events. You want to host an event for your brand, for your company, or you want to teach your marketing team on how to host events, invite people, and do all the logistics, you can do well, reach out to me. I'm there to teach you to embrace the power of events and also positivity. So that's what I do. Thank you so much, Mr. Eric. I yield my team.
Awesome. We all need positivity and we we all need events. All right. Leah Garcia, if you can share with us real quick.
Yes, absolutely. So you can actually find me on LinkedIn. I'm all over social media. You can also visit my business box, which is like an interactive website. Download my free ebook, Wall of Wealth. You can also reach out with me. You can take a quiz. It's leahgarcia.io. That's leahgarcia.io, and I will put it in the comments. Thank you, Eric.
All right. So you broke up a little bit, but it's leahgarcia.io. She's going to put it in the chat. Okay. And take the quiz and download the ebook. I hope I summarized what she said right there. All right. So awesome.
Perfect.
Yes, no problem. Any Asan, go ahead.
Yes, look, I make people money and I save them time. How's that? That's what I really do. But the simple way to understand that is to say, I make people famous. That way you sell more easily. You know, there's many different ways I say I do many different activities in making you famous. You know, my favorites and the one that builds legends and legacy is helping you write and publish a book. Or sell your book as well, launch your book. I'm guaranteed to make any book that's well written a #1 Amazon bestseller.
Awesome. Thank you so much. 100%. Thank you so much. And you did put your information in the chat. I see it right.
Yeah, I just put my link in the comments.
Very good.
To connect and let's talk.
All right. So Paula Washington says, my why as a communicator is to elevate the quality of people's lives through designing strategic life plans, business, and legacy. Powerful why. Awesome. Yeah, put it in there, folks. I'm going to read out your why, and here's the thing, some of you are thinking, well, I know my why, but I don't want everybody to know it. That's that's the wrong way to think. That's the wrong way to think. You actually want people to know it, because that puts you in alignment where I got to do this. This is my why, right? So instead of keeping it to yourself, share it with people, right? Share it with people. So, I would just tell you, when I went to an event over the weekend, it's a speakers event, speakers that it's a business event for entrepreneurs that want to speak in front of groups, right? And that's what I do for a living. And I met some of these great entrepreneurs and speakers. And guess what I did? I did a video of them, right? I said, tell people what you do. So I'm going to post them. So check out my LinkedIn and Instagram today. I'm going to post. I have all these videos of people I met, and I didn't get paid for that, but I was so happy to do it. Why? Because that's my why. I promote people, right? So you're going to see that today. You're going to see that, right? Yeah. And I went out of my way to do it and everything. And I tell how much does it charge? No, nothing. There's no charge for that. I just want to promote you. I want to promote you. Now there's a charge for speaking on my stage. That's not free. I just want you to know. Don't call me if you want to speak on my stage for free. That will happen. But I just want to show you that when you love something, you'll do it. You just do it all day. All right. So I think we went around the room. Did we go? Yeah. So we went around the room. Okay. So let's go to questions. All right. We're going to start here. Give me 1 second. This is acting up a little today on LinkedIn. Okay. So, Coral says, how can someone begin uncovering their why if they feel their entire sense of purpose has been tied to their job? Whoo, that's a good question. When your whole purpose has been tied to your job and you spent 100% of your energy and your thoughts and everything in that job, how do you begin to uncover your why? All right. So whoever wants to start can just jump in. Yeah, preferably Zion if you can. If not, that's fine. Whoever wants to jump in.
So I'll happily share.
Okay.
If your sense of purpose is tied to your job, that's not a bad thing, right? Because that could be your why. I guess if you're doing the job unhappily and still feeling unfulfilled, then maybe you have a bigger purpose. Let's not try and. I'm sure none of us here is saying a job can't be your why, because it can. It's what gives you a sense of fulfillment, like we said. It's a way that you can help people, impact people, and build the life that you want to live. So if that's in a job, okay. If it's not in a job, I guess you will feel a hole in your heart, feeling unfulfilled. Feeling that there's more to life, to my life than this. I'm here for a greater purpose. And yes. like I said earlier, all you can then do is do what comes to your soul. What's your heart telling you? What's your mind telling you? Is your mind telling you to go and be an astronaut? If it is, be prepared to do the work it takes. And that's something I didn't say earlier, Eric. Look, doing your why doesn't mean it's going to be easy. But please don't think so, my friends. It's not. It's going to be because you still have to become the person who does that thing. That means we have to learn, we have to evolve, we have to become better at the thing that we're here to do, right? And there'll be challenges. Let's embrace them. Let's face them. Let's do what we have to do. But you must put yourself into it and really commit to it and become the person who does.
Awesome. Thank you. All right. Who else would like to jump in?
Yeah, I love that, Annie. That is so brilliant. And it might be an opportunity that shows up through your job. My niece was working at a glass company and she was just working there. I say just, okay, I don't mean just, but she was a worker there. And then through that, she evolved and now she owns Glass Vegas in Las Vegas. That's like number one glass company in Las Vegas. So it doesn't mean that your job can't be your purpose, but through that you may find an opportunity. Maybe it's something you volunteer. Maybe you start a nonprofit or foundation. So it's maybe through your job that you discover that next level. I love that hole in your heart, right? That you're able to fill that hole in your heart and drive that passion. So great conversation.
Awesome. Thank you so much. So what I would say is this. When you think of your why, I want you to put your job aside and say, if I can wake up every day and I had $1 million in the bank and I didn't need to make money, what would I do that would make me happy? And how would I serve people and it'll make me happy, right? So for me, when I ask myself that question, I would say I would spend my days promoting people. I would just spend my days learning more about people's businesses and saying, okay, how can we get it to more people? I would do that for free. That's what I'll do. And I would be speaking on stages because I love to speak, right? So that's my why. So it happens to be what I do for a living, right? Because that's what energizes me. So you have to be able to separate the job, like like Leah said, their job could be part of your why, absolutely, but it doesn't have to be, right? When I say, tell me about yourself, and you say, well, I work at this company. That's not really what I'm asking. I'm not saying what company do you work for, right? But people assume that their whole identity is connected to that job, right? It's connected to that job. Now, when you do find a lot of times people feel that their why won't make them any money, but they're wrong. They're wrong. They just haven't found a way to monetize it, right? So find your why, and then the next step is find a way to monetize it. So we all have bills, so you can pay your bills and have money while you're doing while you're pursuing your why. Okay, but that's a great question. All right, so I just want to point on. Let's see. Dr. Marcia says, my why, I help leaders connect with their God-given identity and purpose for joyful, sustained life and leadership in all seasons. Beautiful. That's a great why, Dr. Mercier. Appreciate that. Great why. All right. So anybody else want to put in their why in there? I will definitely read it out. Okay. 1 second. There's a question here. Okay. Okay. I don't really know what your question is. I need a new one. Okay. Anyway, let's put it up here. It's a little long. Ashwin says, been 20 years doing digital marketing end to end, thought I loved it. I jumped out of my own soul, broke my back, and literally typed my way to numb hands. This is real. I literally can't type anymore. I use the dictation tool now. My why misguided me in a way. This I love and hate thing. I need a new why. So I don't even know if that's a question, but does anybody want to speak to this at all? I guess when you've done something for so long, but it's really not what you feel your why is. Anybody want to jump in?
Yeah, our why. I'm sorry. Go ahead, Annie.
Oh, please.
Yeah, I really believe that our why it changes and evolves with us. You may start out in one path, but then something ebbs and flows, and there's a lesson. I always take it as there's a lesson. I always say, okay, Lord, what is a lesson I'm supposed to learn from this? And then, because all of us, I didn't start out being a dynasty builder. I started out selling life insurance. Okay. So, and I still sell life insurance, but it's evolved over time. So maybe there's a direction that's you're being guided to, and then it doesn't negate what you've done or what you've accomplished. It just means that now there's another level, right? We're like an onion. There's always another level. I hope that helps, Ashwan. Great comment.
Yes, great answer too, Leah. Go ahead, Annie.
Yeah, when I was younger, so one of the things, I read a book called Who Moved My Cheese? That's probably the best way to start to answer this. In other words, as Cornelia said, look, our why can change. It's changing for most of us. It changes. Say what I can do today is based on who I am, what I know, what I put my effort into. What I can do tomorrow is based on what I've been up to now, plus what I've learned today. My greatest state of being, greatest state of awareness. So our why changes for whatever reason. And so Mr. Ashwin, it sounds like I don't know whether your why to be a marketer has changed, or whether this is God calling on you to find a different way, a better way of doing what you do. That's the best way I can answer this.
Yeah.
Your why hasn't misguided you. Say that as Dr. Marcia says, look in your soul, find the answer, find what God's really trying to tell you. And how you can use your talents in a better, different way. There you go, Eric.
Yeah, thank you so much. Thank you so much. And here's what I would say. If what you're doing doesn't get you excited, then you need to stop doing it. You said your fingers are numb. I mean, like, you don't want to do that forever. Like, they'll just get number, if that's a word. They'll just get number and number, right? So yeah, don't do, if you're tired of what you're doing, that's not your why. You can't get tired of your why, right? Yeah. So find something else. It's never too late. People sometimes feel that since they've been doing something so long, they have to keep doing it. No, you don't. You could stop anytime and start again. I know stories of people that started businesses in their 60s, right? Right. So, so it doesn't, Colonel Sanders started his business after retiring 62, and, KFC, right? So it's never too late and it's never too early. Like, you can just change on a dime and don't worry about what you've done in the past. Okay. All right, so that's what I would say with regard to that. And also your why changes. I mean, I remember when I was younger, and I was working for this sales organization, Xerox Selling. My why was just to be the number one in sales. My why was to buy a nice car, it was to buy a sports car, right? Right? To impress people, especially the girls. I didn't care about the guys. That was my why in life. It's changed now, right? So yeah, so things change. All right. So here's another question. Let's see. Okay. What advice would you give to entrepreneurs who are feeling guilty pursuing their purpose outside of their job? Whew, that's a great question. And I do have a comment for that, but I'll let my panelists speak first. Who would like to share?
I'm always happy to share on this topic.
Okay, go ahead.
I mean, the way to give entrepreneurs, does that mean they're moonlighting from their business, or are they moonlighting from their job? Are they doing addition to the business, or addition to the job? That's the first question I would ask, right? Look, your why essentially, it can feel like a hobby, as Eric said earlier. It's something you do, even if no one's paying you. You'd happily do it because you enjoy doing it. Maybe you're also very good at it. And like I say, the important thing is that you can serve people. You shouldn't feel guilty pursuing your why, for sure. And if you're not in business already doing your why, doing your own thing, maybe that's a cue call for you to go into business, go solo, like Ashwin mentioned. Go solo, embark on a mission to serve more people. See, there's something we haven't mentioned, and maybe we've mentioned it without saying it explicitly, my friends. Your why gives you a genius no one else has. It's a God's gift. It's God's gift to you to give to the world. So you know something about that thing that no one else does. If you don't bring it to the world will never have the benefit of it. So don't be scared to truly go all out to live your why. If you have that burning desire in your soul, don't go and face God on your deathbed and say, I didn't do it. God's like, and I gave you all of this. What happened, Eddie? I'm like, sorry, God, I just couldn't be bothered. I thought I was taking my job instead. No, that's not good enough, right? I have to know. That's why I work for myself. I have to be brave to go to face the world and say, I can do something different. I can help the world be a better place.
Very
that's
good.
That's the why, right?
Thank you. Queen Leah, do you have a comment on this?
Yeah, this is a brilliant question. I'm going to take a little bit of a different take on it. Sometimes people feel guilty because they're leaving their family. Be where you are. If you're in a job right now, then you do that job. If you're pursuing your passion and a side hustle and it's taking time away from your family, sometimes people say their families are why, but then they use their family as an excuse. It doesn't mean that you have to be with your family for 8 hours. It means that when you're with your family, put away your phone, put away your tablet, put away the paperwork, and really be there. So I kind of think that that's sometimes people feel guilty because they're taking time away from their family. But great question, Coral.
Yes, great question. I like what Annie said, that you don't want to be on your deathbed and have regrets, right? So I left a high-paying job, like high six figures, because they won't let me do my business. Right. There's the kind of job where they see what you're doing and like, okay, you can't do that if you're going to be working here. I'm like, oh, I got to go then. I got to go. So I took a pay cut to go, But because I took that pay cut, but that freed me up some time to build my business, and now I'm living my why, right? So I didn't let the job be an excuse, right? So like Queen Leah said, don't make excuses. If you say, well, the reason why I'm not pursuing my why is because my job takes up all my time, then find a job that doesn't take up all your time. Like, don't give yourself an excuse to fail, right? Don't give, because when it's all said and done, the job, you're not building a job. You're not building it. Nothing's built, right? At the end of it all, that's it. You just move on to something else. But if your why, you can build it over time, right? So that's what I say. Don't concern yourself with what the people at your job think. Who cares what your boss thinks? Your boss does not run your life, right? Who cares what the other people at the job say? Well, I can't believe you're doing this. You should be focusing on the job. Then you need to leave that place, or find something else, right? Yeah, because again, you don't want to make excuses, and years later, you're like, well, I just wasted 30 years of my life. You don't want to do that. So, all right. So let's keep moving. I think we have time for one more question. Let's see, one more question, and then we will wrap it up. And by the way, folks, let me just shout out a few people. I think some people have joined. Let's see. Let me shout out. Elizabeth is here. Welcome, Elizabeth. And I think that a lot of people are not putting comments in here. But anyway, that's fine. Some people are shy. But yeah, put your comments in here, and I'll be glad to shout you out. Natasha, good to see you. Lisa, good to see you. Welcome to our call today. All right. So let me go back up here, see if I can get a question. Let's see. Okay, here we go. Last question. So, can you share a moment when you realized your purpose had nothing to do with your job? Ooh, I love that. Specific question. All right, I'll get it specific here. Who would like to share? And we only have a couple minutes, so like a minute. Who would like to share?
Well, I will say this. Go ahead, Annie.
No. Go ahead, Queenie. Go ahead.
Well, I haven't had a job for probably like 40 years. So I had a job as a teenager, and then I was raising children, right? And so I think that it doesn't have to be anything. You just have to really, it's going to evolve over time. And yeah, I hope that people will get from this that we're not static. We're meant to evolve and grow. That's the whole thing about it. Great question.
Absolutely. We're not static. That's right. Yes. Go ahead, Annie.
Amazing question indeed. Look, I thought my why was working with kids, but as Dr. Marcia mentioned in the comments, we shouldn't mistake our assignment with our purpose. So my assignment at the time was working as a children's advocate. So that was an assignment to pay back to the system that raised me, basically. I did the job every day, with integrity, with all I had, everything. So all my education, all my knowledge, all my skills. But deep down, I knew I wasn't going to do that forever. I knew that was not it for me. And so I think when you feel that there's something missing, that's when I knew that I had to do something else soon enough. And 15 years later, I left. I got to the top. I got to run the charity. But still, I wasn't fulfilled. So apart from other jobs, I think I just hated them. The stress, Eric, the stress of people that you don't like, the stress of every day being a chore. You go to work, you're thinking, what's going to go wrong today? And you come home, you're thinking, that was a terrible day. Every day, that's when you know it's time to leave and do your own thing. So I did.
Absolutely. And what I would say is well, specifically, I had a job. So my first job was selling copiers, right? And then I sold office supplies. So I sold from business to business, where I would sell, and it's not like just pens and paper, right? It's hundreds of thousands of dollars worth per month, right? Big companies, right? And I was good at it, but I was thinking to myself, I don't want to do this for the rest of my life. They're just selling stuff, just selling pen and paper to companies. Like, this is not my why. Like, I can make more and more and more and more money, but this is not it. I want to work with people. Like I want to help people directly. I want to help people directly. So how do I help people? That's when I got into sales coaching, right? And then I was doing some motivational speaking when I met. That's not really what I want to do. I don't just want to go around just motivating people on stage. I want to go dive deeper into their lives and see how I can help them. That's when I started putting people on stages, right? So yeah. So I definitely had that point where I said my job is not my why. And I started doing what I really I came here for, came to this world for. So appreciate that. All right. Welcome, Calm. Good to see you, Calm. Welcome. Let's see. Okay. I don't understand that. Welcome, Calm. Welcome, Harumi. If I don't understand what somebody said, I can't talk about it. Sorry. Harumi, welcome. Maria, Elizabeth. All right. So what we're going to do, we got 4 minutes. First of all, folks, we have something big coming very soon. So you want to keep coming to these calls every Monday at 7 a.m. Eastern time. Something big coming that's going to help everybody. We have maybe 100 people watching this right now, but we want to get it to 1,000, right? So what I want everybody to do is right now put in the chat hashtag live, right? Because you're on here live. Hashtag live. Okay. And then for people that are listening to this replay later on, you're going to put hashtag replay. All right. But if you're live, put hashtag live. And then take this and then repost it. So if you're on LinkedIn, just repost it to your audience, right? Or share it. Take the video and share it to other social media, right? We want to grow this so that we have 1,000 people live, right? Because we give a lot of value and we want to share with more people. We give a lot of value. We want to share with more people. Okay. And for those of you that were not here before, if you're interested in speaking on my stage, studiospeaking.com, click on the link, watch the video on there, learn more, and then book a call if you feel that you qualify. And if you want my free ebook, 100 Ways to Build Your Business Fast, then click on the link. I just put it in the chat again. I just put free ebook. And if you're listening and you can't see what I'm saying, it's Success with Eric. Eric is with a C, right? successwitheric.com/100. successwitheric.com/100. All right. So I see Alexis says hashtag live. Gladys says hashtag live. Who else? Marcia. She said she actually wrote it out, hashtag live. Okay, that's good too. Dr. Marcia, Harumi. All right. Hashtag live. Hashtag live. We want to say at least 50 of them right now. Hashtag live. All right, folks. It has been a plum-pleasing pleasure as well as a privilege to be here with you once again. And we do this every single Monday. We've been doing it for a couple of years now, and it's going to grow. We're going to have 1,000 people live. And that day, I'm going to put it in the chat, and I'm going to remind you about today. I'm going to say, hey, I told you. We're going to have 1,000 people live. Why? Because we keep changing lives every single week. Have a great week, everybody. Bye-bye.